Some of my favorite DAOs.
Some of my favorite DAOs.
Some of my favorite DAOs are...
A lot of the NFT projects themselves are DAOs.
Can the answer be none?
That's a good set of DAOs.
I was actually a contributor to not just financially, but also, put in some work to Constitution DAO. So that was a DAO, if you don't know, that was aiming to buy the Constitution. Unfortunately, they failed at the last minute, but they raised millions of dollars to do this, right? And it was a core collective group of we the people trying to buy a document for the people and essentially, make it public and available for everyone. So I love the mission, obviously was a contributed financially also. And it was just a very exciting project and I wish it succeeded.
I love listening to Cash from SuperTeam. That's one of the only other DAOs on Solana really sort of picked up a lot of steam. I really like what John Hillis is doing at CabinDAO, something where it's not just Discord, but there's actually a physical presence for it.
The Employment Commons, where I contribute heavily and work, SporkDAO, where I am a core team member and treasurer, DAO House, RaidGuild, Metafactory, Metacartel, BanklessDAO has its moments.
SuperDAO, of course. I really like Rally.io as well. That I think seeing the DAO enabling creators in a whole new way, and then also I learn a lot from observing how they operate.
I'd say the first DAO that I heard of was the MakerDAO. I think that's really interesting, right? We've seen the crash recently in crypto markets, but we've seen, DAI remain totally stable. They've done a fantastic job.
Flamingo, Neon, and Pleaser, I guess. For me, it's just an early example how a bunch of smart people getting together can meaningfully make decisions, investment decisions, and drive value for the group, but in a very decentralized way. And I was skeptical about the idea at first, but it works.
I love OrangeDAO. They're like an investor DAO filled with former YC founders, and then DeveloperDAO. It's a bunch of builders.
UniwhalesDAO, of course, and Cosmos. I feel like the Cosmos hub and the Atom token is OG DAO, and they also have DAO coming out in the IBC, and I think that's going to unlock a lot of things. The DAOs are quite interesting. So it's, Cosmos has their zones, right? Think of like the spokes, right? And so imagine being able to run a DAO where you have a treasury that controls assets across multiple different Cosmos chains, controlled from one, like kind of interchain accounts. So I think it's going to be pretty neat because there are all these like kind of app-specific chains.
VitaDAO, because it's a big, hairy, audacious goal of trying to do longevity research. And I think getting a lot of people together is interesting. And then CityDAO, basically buying a piece of land and having people live there, because I think government meets DAO is a really interesting use case.
I have been really geeking out on the KaliDAO Discord because they have been thinking about how to marry legal wrappers and legal court systems with DAOs. They have a cool product that combines an LLC and a DAO. It gives some legal protection to DAO participants, but their Discord is full of people really geeking out about what the legal side of DAOs are and how to combine those together into cool new products. There's a lot of crossover with LexDAO, which is a lawyer DAO, and they're thinking through a lot of the same questions.
I think the DAOs that are doing a lot of things great, MakerDAO, Uniswap, and then some of the more fun DAOs. I'm a part of this investment DAO called CypressDAO. We're also part of OrangeDAO. There's a couple other ones in DeFi that I think are really cool. TribeDAO. I'm less NFTs and gaming. That's not really my personal interest. So again, I tend to call out some of the DeFi names.
I really like the DeDAO by DGods. It's one that I follow closely because they're trying to make innovative decisions with how they're using their token. I think at its earliest stage, it's hard to create applications in a decentralized fashion, and I think that they're approaching it in a good way. And then obviously if Yugalabs counts as a DAO because they just issued their own token and are giving governance back to their users, I really love what they're doing with their whole playbook of, build something that people want, achieve product market fit, and then decentralize. I think that they've handled everything extremely professionally, and the prime example of how it should be ran.
I love DAOs that are doing work internally. So DAOs that are focused on providing value, not just governance, not just social DAOs. Some examples of those would be BanklessDAO, GitcoinDAO, Metagame, Forefront, PrimeDAO, DeepWork, and Token Engineering Commons, and OneHive and the whole family of the common stack DAOs.
On the investment DAO stuff, which is really where I spend a lot of my time on, I like what Alliance is doing. I love what SeedClub is doing. I like what Origami is doing by bringing folks together. My partner is a member of ConstitutionDAO, which was fun and interesting. I like what my friend at Sixth Man is doing with LinksDAO. I think it's really, really interesting. I'm not a golfer, but I think it's a really, really interesting concept. And I'm a member of a DAO called DreamDAO, which is super interesting. It's basically a refi DAO for Gen Zs to solve the climate crisis.
CokeDAO. I really think CokeDAO today is doing some really interesting work around voting with very sophisticated vibes, and VitaDAO. I really like how kind of far out the thinking and the benefit is around VitaDAO.
I think the answer is none, because every DAO I've seen outside of AllianceDAO is extremely disorganized to the point where they're not able to make good decisions.